Hi, everyone. I'm Steve Babitch, Head of Artificial Intelligence at GSA's Technology Transformation Service. First, before I begin, I'd like to thank Scoop News Group and the organizers of AI Week for this great event and for the opportunity to speak to all of you today on a retrospective of the AI community of practice and the TTS AI portfolio's broader work over the last year. First, a little bit of background on how we were established. Last year, following the executive order on artificial intelligence in February 2019, as well as the White House AI and Government Summit in September of 2019, TTS, the Tech Transformation Service, established a focus on artificial intelligence and specifically on AI and government. And so as part of that establishment, our focus is really to accelerate the investment in and use of AI to help federal agencies achieve their mission and use AI as a mechanism to do so. We want to help them deliver greater efficiencies, generate better insights, and make better decisions using AI. And so our approach is to make sure that whatever we do, whether it's developing AI systems, getting ready for AI, or other ways of modernizing, that it's aligned with federal agencies and the problems they have to solve to achieve their mission. And so it's no small feat we're undertaking, and we're making good progress, but there's obviously a lot to do. And so we have a great team. We've got a few key efforts underway so far, and I'd like to just sort of dive more deeply into a few areas of focus right now and give you a sense of what we've been up to for the last year and a little bit of a look ahead. So the first area is around implementation and delivery. And so within TTS, we have a few groups that are focused on implementation of AI projects and systems, as well as capability building with respect to AI. So first, we've got the AI Center of Excellence, part of the broader centers of excellence that work alongside our federal agency partners, such as the Joint AI Center within the Department of Defense, as well as the Department of Labor. And so they're doing some great work there. We also have a number of presidential innovation fellows who've done work in AI at the VA and elsewhere. And we have a brand new cohort of PIFs focused on AI strategy, capability building, and implementation. We also have 18F, who is helping to modernize agencies, build and buy better technology, and to ensure software development is done in an agile way, which, if you want to do AI effectively, it also involves doing software development in a modern, agile way. And then lastly, within TTS, we also have 10X, which is a venture fund to seed new ideas and innovation in government. And they've been putting an increased emphasis on funding AI-related initiatives and projects. And so that's one big area of focus around implementation and delivery. The second is the AI community of practice itself. And so within the COP, we've created a community that aims to unite federal employees who are active in or interested in AI policy, technology, best practices, and lessons learned, all of which can help drive the thoughtful adoption of AI across the federal government. It's a platform where we host talks, panels, workshops, and highlight the great work within and beyond government. For example, sharing use cases, lessons learned, and best practices. And so over the last year, we've had a range of activities that have taken place through the AI COP. First, we've got about 959 people across the federal government who make up our AI community of practice across a wide range of federal agencies. We have a working group focused on the responsible use of AI with an eye towards taking ethics and responsible AI to a more practical level. We've held a number of events that have spanned a range of topics, from sharing use cases in government to more tech-focused webinars, to hearing from industry and their perspective on implementing AI, to discussions on key issues and efforts underway in and around government. For example, we had the National Security Commission on AI present their latest quarterly findings and recommendations, and they had a feedback session with our community. This gave them an opportunity to engage the federal government and provide feedback on what their recommendations and findings were. Another one, our most recent event, was NIST, the National Institutes of Standards and Technology, and they joined us to share their work on AI, including their efforts on responsible, explainable, and trustworthy AI. And we look forward to having both NSCAI and NIST come back for subsequent events. And then we've also gone deeper on a couple of areas that are very relevant to government. For example, we've had a series of events focused on the acquisition of AI. That's going to be a huge issue for government as they purchase AI products and services. And so it's been a very packed year of engagement, which has led to a wide range of productive discussions and momentum building, and we'll be doing more this year. So that's the second area. And now the third area that we're focused on is in product development and resources that accelerate the investment, readiness, and use of AI in government. And so we're looking right now at launching in a few months, early in the new year, a couple of key resources, including content that can help agencies understand what AI is, how to make investments in it, organize the building blocks and capabilities required to deploy it, and to do so in a responsible and ethical manner. And so we're looking forward to doing that, like I said, in the new year. And then lastly, the fourth is external engagement. And we want to do more of this in the coming year, and that is engaging those beyond government to think tanks, academia, and industry to incorporate and fold in external perspectives that will be useful for federal agencies to consider. So that's a little bit of what we've been up to over the last year. And looking ahead, we want to continue to identify the ways that we can support agencies as they continue to invest in AI. And in addition to providing the products, tools, and resources, we certainly think there's a couple of areas that are of continued interest. And that is responsible use of AI, and that's critical. So for example, for us, it's important for us to reframe the challenge of what it means to develop and deploy AI systems in a responsible manner. It's not just about AI ethicists or project leads evaluating an AI system after it's built. The developers of AI systems also must come to realize that the technical decisions they make every day are likely ethical choices too. And so for the AI community, we want to identify best practices and tools and resources that we can provide to help agencies implement those practices going forward. And the other area that we're thinking a lot about is around the talent and people. We're very interested in further addressing the people side, whether that's a focus on training federal employees through applied learning or finding tangible mechanisms for federal hiring to bring in not just AI and data science, but digital capabilities and talent writ large into government, because it's all required to sort of moving the AI front forward and making sure that those talented folks have a solid career path once they get here. So we're very interested to speak with and engage hiring managers, business and mission owners and agencies, recruiting managers who need to bring the talent in, and others. Those are familiar with the potential AI projects in government. And so we want to work together to help frame and define AI projects, for example, and we could do that via the AI community of practice, whether that's through community workshops or through other mechanisms. And I'd say another area on the talent to people front that we think is an untapped resource is through academia. Students, for example, whether undergraduate all the way through PhDs, have a real interest in working on government problems, and government has a range of problems where this talent can be brought to bear. And some of these current students can really be our future government leaders. So we think it's really important to find the ways and the pipelines to bring them in to be able to work on government problems, particularly in AI, but beyond. And we believe that when they see the fascinating problems that government must tackle, such as disaster response recovery, or security-related issues, or advanced disease diagnosis, we believe many of them will want to join and stay in the government to address these challenges and opportunities. And so if we can build out and pilot programs to get those people into government from academia and elsewhere, through the community practice, to agencies to work on real problems, we will move the needle in AI investment and build a broader switched-on community. Within TTS and the AI portfolio, we're already doing this kind of work, again, through the Centers of Excellence, through the Presidential Innovation Fellows, and elsewhere. And we're looking forward to doing much more. So that's it for me. I hope you found this talk and these remarks useful in shedding light on what we've been up to in the federal government as far as the AI community goes. Thanks again for the opportunity, and stay well.